the NBA championship, the crowning achievement of most players' NBA careers. Most players can only dream of one day lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy above their head. Many all-time greats have. Bill Russell has more rings than he has fingers. LeBron James brought his hometown team their first ever NBA championship. MJ had three-peated twice. Many all-time greats have had their hands on a championship, but what about the ones that don't? Not everyone can win a ring, so there's bound to be some great players to miss out. Allen Iverson, Reggie Miller, and Patrick Ewing weren't able to get their hands on that elusive NBA championship. But one man who gets clowned the most for never winning a ring.
Alright though, my legacy was already set. 4 rings. How many rings you got? How many rings you gonna be remembered for?
And he's probably the best player to never win one. Sir Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley may now be more known for his funny moments on television, but once upon a time, Charles was a phenomenal basketball player, and in his time, probably the best power forward in the entire NBA. Let's take things back to the 1984 draft, where a young Charles Barkley was ready to get into the league and was taken with the 5th overall pick. For most, this would be a day of celebration, but not for Chuck. As in the days prior, he met with the 76ers management where they told him they could only offer him $75,000 for 1 year. So Charles thought of the brilliant idea for them not to draft him. He was going to eat so much food he would drastically put on weight so they would not draft him. But sadly for Chuck, this wasn't enough for the Philadelphia 76ers to pass up on him, even with the whopping 20 pounds he put on during this time. Thank God for Barkley's sake, the 76ers traded away some players to free up some room in the salary cap to give him a more sizable contract. Unlike many other players joining teams so early in the draft, Chuck was joining a team that was already contenders. In his rookie season, he would play alongside Moses Malone and Julius Erving. Charles would have to work hard to get the starting spot in his rookie season, but eventually he would get it and put up an impressive 14 points, 8.6 rebounds, and a block a game. These stats would be impressive for any rookie, but especially his block and rebounding numbers, as he only stood around 6'6", but some would say he was even closer to 6'4" without shoes on. Barkley was already showing his potential to become a franchise player. He averaged 20 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks per game. Charles Barkley's strength and explosiveness made him a nightmare to defend, even with his obvious disadvantage in his height. The 76ers had snagged a great piece to build around and would trade away Moses Malone after Charles' sophomore season, and then in the next season Dr. J would retire. Charles was now the franchise player of the 76ers, and with his increased role, he drastically improved. As between 1987 and 1992, he would put up averages of 26 points, 11.5 rebounds, and almost 4 assists a game. The 76ers themselves wouldn't find much success. The furthest they reached in the playoffs with Barkley as their star player was only the Eastern Conference semi-finals. One of the key areas you could always say was a weakness in Charles' game was his defense, and that seemingly spread for the entire team, as the team always finished in the bottom half of defensive rating, and once in the 1988-89 season, they would finish with the second worst defense in the league. The 76ers also failed to surround Barkley with sufficient talent, as they never really gave Barkley that second star player. Closest they came was Hershey Hawkins, who was only a one-time All-Star. Charles demanded a trade, and he would eventually receive his wish as he was brought to the Phoenix Suns, where he would have his most successful season ever. He would put up 26.7 points, 12.2 rebounds, and 5.2 assists, and would take home his first and only MVP. This would be the first season Charles made it to the NBA Finals, where he was defeated by the Chicago Bulls, who were in the midst of their first three-peat. The success of this season could be attributed to Charles finally being surrounded by other talented players. He played alongside 2 other All-Stars in Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley. Sadly for Chuck, this would be the last time he made it to the NBA Finals, as he would come second best in his conference to the Houston Rockets, who beat them in the next 2 Western Conference Finals, which in both seasons the Rockets would go on and win the NBA championship. The Suns in both finals would blow leads, and Charles was underperforming, and this damaged Chuck's reputation, giving him the label of a player that wasn't clutch. Chuck would be traded to the Rockets, ending his time with the Suns. In his time with Phoenix, which was the most successful of his career, he put up 23.4 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game. Charles would do a Durant well before a Durant did a Durant, joining the team that he blew a 3-1 lead to the year prior. But unlike for Durant, this didn't lead to success for Charles. The three stars of the team was built around were all in the latter stages of their careers. Barkley would through this time slowly decline as a player. This can be seen in his scoring averages, which would drop from 23.2 points per game in his final season with Phoenix to 14.5 in his final season with Houston. Houston was overtaken by Utah as the best team in the Western Conference, and this was solidified when John Stockton hit a game-winning three on them in the Western Conference Finals. Charles in his final season would continue to decline as he was reaching his mid-30s. Charles would decide to retire in the 1999-2000 season. He would finish his career with 23,757 points, 12,546 rebounds, and of course winning an MVP. Charles' career has been forgotten as time goes on, like many other all-time greats that have not won a championship. But let's not forget, Charles is a top 5 power forward of all time, and probably the best offensive power forward. Charles, in my opinion, is probably the greatest player to never win a ring, and it's sad to see we never really got to see what championship Chuck could be. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. Please consider liking and subscribing, it really helps us out.
They don't call you championship Chuck.
They don't call me championship Chuck.
Championship Chuck.
Yeah.